Welcome to Café Créa. I'm Josiane Faubert. Café Créa is a conversation with creative that inspire us. Welcome to Café Créa, and joining us today, the wonderful, amazing, Seattle-based, award-winning illustrator, Jordan Kay. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. I'm like so nervous. I'm like,
Yeah, it's all
all of a
right.
sudden.
There was a lag. I think there was a lag with the network. I'm a big fan of yours. Like, I've been following you on Instagram for I don't know how long, and I don't even remember how I came across your profile. It just, I don't know. But since I found you, I've been following you. I've been following your work. I saw that you were working with Starbucks, an impressive list of clients. That's amazing. And here today, you're going to share with us a little bit of who you are, and what brought you to illustration, and what drives this creativity that you can share with us. So let's start maybe with who you are and what brought you to illustration.
Oh wow. My name is Jordan Kay, and I've been drawing almost forever. No, I guess like one of the things that brought me to illustration from like a very young age was my dad. He taught me how to read by sitting me in his lap and crayons, and he would write the word like man and then draw a man and then hand me the crayon, to like help me read the word, and then let me draw or try to draw the man as well.
Wow.
Very basic, primitive
Yeah.
drawings, but it really helped that, as well as like just exploring creativity through nurture, which was really cool.
But
Um,
was he
so I ended up going to school for illustration. Uh, oh, he's a oh sorry, did you ask?
Yeah, I was. For some
Did you ask
reason
me
the
something
internet
specific?
is delaying everything. But was he an illustrator? Was he working in the art field or something like that?
He is a painter and graphic designer,
Okay.
and right now he does a lot of packaging for like food and stuff in the Midwest. So
Wow. Okay. So he knew, because I took a few online classes, and yeah, and that's what they tell you. The basic, just draw random stuff, pretty much. Yeah, to get used to it.
mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So after that, I think as I became like a teenager, I started fighting. Like everybody kind of was like, "Oh, you're good at drawing. You should pursue that as a career." And I felt like at the time I was like, "Oh, I really want to go into theater or like be a singer
Hmm.
or do something like really grand." And college tour with a friend who was also in theater and also in art class with me, and just really got turned on to art through different like college interviews that we sort of discovered together.
Hmm.
And so I ended up at Minneapolis College of Art and Design,
Okay.
and yeah,
And then once you're there, like how, because
studied illustration.
did you study illustration specifically, or you studied graphic design and then eventually you went to um, illustration?
I studied illustration and I took quite a bit of painting classes and quite a bit of graphic design classes because I kind of still couldn't make up my mind.
I can see that though in your work.
Um, yeah, I feel like I've gone recently into a much more digital space, but I feel like this year I'm excited to explore more of my roots in painting. So,
Because so when I was researching your work, and one thing that kept coming back to my head was the very strong paintbrush, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's the Van Gogh of illustration, like very like strong and
oh, thanks. Yeah, no, I think, and it probably comes from sort of that imperfection of learning how to read with my dad, and then also sort of the play that happens in college, and sort of as you're discovering your style, like just drawing anything and everything and not being worried about imperfection. I think that that's where maybe some of the boldness comes in my work, because I'm just like, just go for it. And if it looks terrible, then figure out a way how to make it work later in the process. So,
But
yeah,
that's a good way. Yeah, you have to create and be judged so that you can improve. That's the thing. Like you shouldn't be afraid of critics, I guess. Yeah, that's great. So
totally.
after college, what did you
Yeah, and I feel
do?
like nothing's.
I just wanted to say,
So I immediately.
sorry,
Oh, so
go ahead.
after I feel like there's a lag, so we're talking
Yeah.
over each other. After college, I immediately moved to Seattle,
Okay.
from the Midwest. My boyfriend at the time came here to record an album, and so having an illustration degree, I I thought I could do it from anywhere, so why not? And I planned to be probably someday to London, and but I ended up staying here for, I think this is 12 years now, so
Okay.
I like it.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, Seattle is a nice place to be.
Yeah.
um, and then how do you, so right after college, do you want to be a freelancer? Do you want to be part of a company, have like a steady job, or like what's in your mind? Like, how do you go about that? Because in the art field, there's so many freelancers. A lot of people love that freedom, but out of college, like, how do you balance that, and how do you get to choose actually what's right for you?
Yeah, I think for me, um, I initially left college and wanted to be a freelancer,
Mm.
but I think I felt at the time so introverted and so scared that I just wanted to hide out in my studio all the time. And I think I felt a lot of almost like imposter syndrome at
Yeah.
the time, where I was like, well, why does anyone want me to draw for them?
Mm.
So I did some sort of random projects and then collaborated with some friends for some bigger name projects, but never really got my name in there, which was fine. It was really fun. But then when student loans started piling up,
The reality.
I decided to apply contract jobs. So yeah, needs forbearance, and so I had to make payments. So I ended up contracting for a small startup company, um, like a tech company around here in Seattle, and put on salary there, and the rest is history, I guess.
So when you work for a startup, are you able to work like full time? Like when you go there, they have enough work for you to do?
Yeah, so when I was contracting there, I was full time for about a year and a half. Um, the company, it's pretty awesome, but the company is called PicMonkey,
Yeah,
and they are
heard
kind
of
of like an
them.
online Photoshop. Yeah, a
I've
lot
heard
of
of them.
bloggers use them.
Yes.
And so, yeah, my job was to create um, content for them, like visual content. So I created a lot of like sort of sticker overlays, different
Okay. Oh,
illustrated stickers
yes.
and stuff.
Hmm.
It was really fun, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So
And then you after Pick Monkey, where did you go? Because you've just finished a
um,
year at Starbucks, and I saw you've done some
a year ago.
a year ago. Okay, and you've done some work for some publishing companies, Amazon as well
Mhm.
included. So very big names in your portfolio of client. That's amazing. How do you get to find? How do you get to find clients? Do you send them your work, or do you get to pitch on somebody take you and pitch on the project they're working on, or they just find you online? How do you
Uh,
get to find
I
clients?
I feel like it's a smattering of everything.
Hmm.
There's definitely a benefit of doing contract work with companies that you want to work for, like through an agency, as just to get that face time. So you start to make friends, because I think a lot of jobs for me comes from either past coworkers or old college friends that are now art directors, or sometimes like cold emailing does work,
Yeah.
or mailers. But I think mostly it's friends or people that I grab coffee with and get to meet and actually have like a little conversation with, so I can get to know them and they can get to know me and what I'm about, so they can think about me in projects, with projects that they feel like I would be a really good fit for, like
Yeah.
based on my passions and based on
Mhm.
things that I care about. So
Okay, so that's good. So you need to build on your network. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
totally.
That's great. And then how do you maintain your artistic um, style? How, when you work with brands, like some of the work that I saw that you did for Starbucks, I can see it's you. Like the strokes are very strong and very beautifully done. Um, how do you maintain your style and and yeah, how do you just maintain your style and who you are as an artist? Because you see a lot of, so the tendency is to think that, especially if you're going to work for a company, your style will need to adapt to their what they want, their project, their branding, and so and so. So how do you make sure that um, you keep your style and on any project you work with, with brands and companies?
I think for the most part, when it comes to freelancing work, um, most companies see your style and hire you for that.
Okay.
I think I need to back up. Okay. So when you're working in-house for a company, there definitely is certain things that you have to adhere to within certain brand guidelines and
Mhm.
things that the company already has in place. And so it's good to have that lens to put through your work if you want to give it to them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think a lot of people are sort of asked to be pretty flexible with their style, which actually is was pretty fun for me and helped, I think, craft where I am now, because it's like you get a paycheck to play,
Yeah.
which is and explore, which is really cool. But then I think through my time at Starbucks, my style sort of has shifted, where when I first started, I was doing a lot more sort of shades of India ink, very like watercolory looking
Mhm.
work. And then as I got into the more like uh, commercial space and trying to push into this more modern space, I think it was like removing more and more of that texture and trying to really make things pop. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, how do I marry these two things? Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of heart for the watercolor, but I like the graphic modern look. So I think it's on my agenda this year to like start marrying those two again.
So
But because of
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think because of the constant exploration and play, there were like a few things that sort of popped out of that. Let's see if I can find. There's like I started doing these. Let's see if I can get it. These like funny, I don't know if you can see them, like
Oh, that's
strokes.
really, yes, that's
They're
really
like little,
good. Yeah.
and so I just started trying to kind of carry those brush strokes like
Yeah.
throughout all my work. I just keep repeating that.
Hmm.
And then as I'm making things, sort of as you keep posting on social media, the more you do more of the same, but in a slightly different way, I think it becomes more and more recognizable to be like yourself.
Your
So,
signature style.
yeah.
How do you come to that point where you can say that, the brushes and strokes, you always have like a wavy type of stroke? How how do you come to the point where you're like, okay, I think that's my style and I like it, and I actually like to incorporate it all the time. Like, did you have an aha moment where you did one and then you did another one and you didn't even realize it, and you looked at them and you're like, okay, I like that.
Yeah, totally. That's totally it. Me and my friend at the time were working on this like cocktail recipe zine. And so I started using those brush strokes to sort of tie together all of my illustrations within the
Mhm.
zine. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I was personally entertained by it. And then when I talked to my friend, she was like, oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool. You should keep doing those. So I think it really does depend on like hanging out with other creative friends and getting their feedback
Yeah.
and like always sort of finding joy within your own work
Hmm.
too and making it fun all the time.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
And one of the, I saw you did a few, I don't remember how you called them, but for Starbucks, they were like big pieces of illustration. I think it was, how do you call that?
They're big landscape paintings. Is that
Yes,
what you're
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
How long it took you to do that? That because there's so many elements on those piece of art. How long it took you to do that, for example, one of them? I think there's three or
Um
four.
yeah, there's four. Each one took me a total of 80 hours to do. But it was like I would spend 15 minutes on a really loose pencil sketch and show the people who were commissioning it at Starbucks. They would kind of give me feedback as to like accuracy of the animals depicted or the plants as to like which region they come from to make sure it like actually spoke to the four drawings were like Kenya, Colombia, Yunnan, China, and Sumatra. So they were just sort of fact checking for those. So
Mhm.
after those quick sketches, or like for one piece, it would be like one quick pencil, got check with them. They trusted me to go ahead and start building out the black and white India ink 3 by 6 foot drawing.
Wow.
And the 3 by 6 foot drawing took 40 hours to do.
Oh,
And then I gave them a colored version too. So they captured it and then they gave it the file to me and then I digitally colored it. And
wow. And how would you
that was another 40
would you
hours.
work like a
So
fashion designer, for example? Would you just research, crop, take pieces of paper, put it in the wall, as your inspiration, and see what type of elements you want to keep, and that's pretty much how you do it on such a big piece.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel like I definitely relied on the sketch,
Mhm.
that quick 15-minute sketch, because that was only maybe like the size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Okay.
So I could sort of plan it all out. And then when it came to going to the larger piece, I used a projector and I would sort of trace it out loosely and then just fill it with as much as I possibly could as I started painting. So
Wow, that's good. That's really beautiful
that
work.
makes sense.
And then what do you use? Like
Thanks.
what software do you use to so you start by drawing something quick on a, notebook or something like that, pen and
Mhm.
paper basic stuff. And then what else do you use?
So the sketch is just pencil and paper. And I literally showed the art buyers that raw sketch and they okayed it. And then I would trace it out in pencil on the giant roll of paper. And then what I like to do is work with different shades of black India ink,
Hmm.
like watered down to different grays. And so I'll start with light gray and then medium gray and then dark and then final black. And then when it comes to coloring it, I just did it in Photoshop. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. So that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of Photoshop. I use a lot of Photoshop for photography. I just can't see myself using Photoshop or illustration. I'm like, oh,
It's a lot, yeah.
yeah, that's a lot. But that's amazing. I love that. And you sell also some of your personal projects online on your website. I will add the details to the website. So these are personal projects. For example, we're on confinement at this time. Um, has COVID, affected your creativity? Has COVID affected your business? Has it allowed you to actually create more, work more on your personal projects?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely affected all parts of my life. I'm sure you feel the same. um, I feel like I have had days where I'm super productive and
Mm,
other days where I just hang out in the yard and do some gardening and try to forget about screens. But it's been really nice. I have a sort of a group chat going with a couple other illustrator friends, and we sort of check in with each other every day as to how we're doing, because it is like there's always that I feel like with social media especially, there's always this guilt of like, I should be posting right now.
I
And then when you're posting,
know.
you're like, I don't know, does it feel right to be
Yeah.
posting about me in such a hard time?
Mm.
And so it's been nice to sort of navigate those feelings with some friends
Other
that are in the
friends,
same.
yes,
Mhm.
that's it's always good to have like a good network of supportive friends that you can rely on when you need
Totally.
to. That's good. Wow. Let me just see if I want to add something else. Yes, there was something I wanted to ask you about. So when you did the Greek series, was that a personal project? Yes.
Yeah.
So what inspires you? Because there's different, there's when I look at your website, there's a lot of different topics, a lot of females, very bright colors. Where do you draw? Where do you go for inspiration? Where do you find your inspiration? Do you read? Do you
Oh, yeah.
watch movies? Or yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I was brought up on sort of classical Hollywood cinema, like old movies, because my parents didn't have to screen them for like bad words or anything like that. And so I've always it's sort of like been ingrained in me for a long time, just like the things that women, specifically in America, most likely in the media,
Mhm.
have had to, or under the media's eye, like have had to deal with about what it means, like what femininity means, and what sort of inner strength comes out of that, whether or not you have the chance to express it. I think that there's so many people of those generations that have so like I'm like I don't know why I'm getting goosebumps, but thinking about the women that came before me, um, globally, even the things that they've had to overcome and find power from within to continue to find happiness in life and find the small things in life to be joyful about. I feel like that part of womanhood is something that I am really passionate about. And I think it's really cool. It feels like more and more we get places to express how we feel nowadays. So hopefully that continues to happen for
Yeah.
sure, more and more. But that's a huge part. And then I think with the Greek and like ancient Italian statues and stuff, I just think it's really interesting thinking about history in that sense too. Like so long ago, there were so many brilliant artists,
Mhm.
and the things that they could do with like somewhat primitive tools is like
Yes.
incredible to me.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit of like fan art that I do.
Right, okay. That's good. But that's
Yeah.
still beautiful. That's very beautiful. Wow.
Oh, thanks.
Great. And then what would you what would what type what advice would you give to someone who's actually graduating now from art school and who's, will be able to, will be on the market trying to find jobs. What type of advice will you give them?
I think fake it till you make it. No, everybody says that, and I'm like, I think everybody kind of does it. But I think just make as many relationships as you possibly can,
Mm-hmm.
and try to be as sincere as possible with those friendships. Because if you have more people that have your back in the creative field,
Mm,
there's more opportunities to find yourself over the years and to find jobs and gigs.
that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
good. Thank you so much. It
thank
was a
you.
really, really nice chat. I feel like, I know you a lot more. So I'm glad we had the chance to learn more about you and your work and your sources of inspiration. What you do is really amazing. Once again,
Oh,
people
thanks.
check it out. Her Instagram is Miss Jordan K. That's easy to remember, but I will put the link at the end so that you don't miss it. Your website is jordank.com, right? If I'm right.
Okay. Hmm.
And then she has
Yep.
beautiful piece of art that you can purchase for wall decoration in your living room, in your bedroom, anywhere in your house. They're really worth it. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And until next time, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to share on your social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. Thanks.